we're going to talk about recently retired PBA vet Sean Anthony, who is settling in well in Canada after deciding to step away from basketball to focus on his family. I got a chance to talk to him about retirement and what's next. Watch this.
Ace is doing great. He's in school now. He's fitting in. We just had his first appointment with his new oncology team that's taking over the monitoring, and they'll do all the scans and whatnot. So that went well too. He's healthy. He's doing great. So he's happy, and he's made the adjustment well over here. So that's all we can ask for, right? That he's happy. So terms for us, like we're settling into Canada as well. Teresa's coming with our youngest Sky on Sunday, and then we'll be settling into our new home and stuff. So it's all moving pretty quickly and fast, but I think by next month we'll fully feel settled to get into a bit of a family routine, and we'll finally all be together again. So it'll be nice.
We know, without question, family first. But what was the reason it took months to finally make the announcement?
To be honest, when it all happened and we found out that it was probably cancer with Ace, and then we had to make a decision on what to do, I think that was just the only thing I could keep in mind was getting him healthy. So that's solely what my focus went to, was just to where's the best doctor for this kind of cancer, where they offer the best medicine, where's their child support and whatnot, and my wife was the one on top of all of this too. And then from there it was what kind of treatments, what are these therapies, and then what are the best complementary things we can do, right? So it's just, I think one thing I've done my whole life is I hyper focus. So be it basketball, hyper focus on training, hyper focus, but in that instance it's hyper focus onto dad mode, and it's how do I get, the only goal in my life is to get him healthy and through this. So I felt bad. I didn't tell anyone except maybe coach and boss Ronald, just to say thank you for the offer and whatnot. And I didn't tell any of my teammates. I didn't want anyone to know what was going on, because I don't know how the experience was for you, but sometimes when you let people know, it's you're almost calming them down. And I didn't have that energy to share that space with them. I was I needed my sole focus on Ace. And then I wasn't completely sure if it was the end for basketball or whatnot. And then, so it became what am I going to do? And then, the opportunity came up over here in Canada, and with there's still more treatment, and not treatment per se, but there's scans, and there's still the surgery he needs to have done to remove the portocath and all that kind of stuff, and Canadian Medical will cover that and as well. And so there was a lot of things that went into that decision, and then it became, he's done. Now I have a week to move. I got to get him into schools. I got to get all the paperwork. I got to get my wife her permanent. And then it's just 1,000 things going on. So I by the time they hit me that I was wait, I'm starting a new job and a new role, and I haven't. They were asking oh, you should announce as well that you're in a new role, and I'm well, I haven't even announced that I've stepped away from basketball. So that's kind of how that all came about.
14 seasons, 8 teams in the PBA. I'm sure there are 1,001 memories, but what are the ones that stand out the most?
Oh, wow. The funny thing is, I look back on high school and let's say McGill, or in college, and it's never really a lot of the stuff that happens on the court. It's also all the little memories of what happened on that one team building here, or what happened when we took our training camp in Vegas, or what happened when we we're in the locker room every day, stuff like that. It's all the stuff, the camaraderie and the friendships you build through all those years. I played for, like you said, it was 8 teams.
8 teams.
Right? So I got to play with so many players, and so many, so many of them are reaching out the last week or two, and it's just those memories get brought up, right? It's do you remember you know, when we did this or whatever. But in terms of on the court, I think the Powerade run was a fun one. There was a triple overtime game was pretty fun as well, where we came out. There's I don't think it'll ever be possible to replicate what it's like to be in an arena when there's fans and there's just like an energy on the court, like and you're playing against Ginebra and the whole crowd's chanting Ginebra or whatnot. So I'll miss that for sure.
But are you open to returning to basketball in the future? Maybe coaching down the line?
No, I love basketball, and somehow it's going to find me, and it's already kind of doing that where people have found out that I'm back. Like, oh, can you help out with this program? Can you do this outreach here? So I feel like that's the first step will be like giving back to maybe the communities out here that are, you know, like underprivileged or whatnot. And I can do that on like be it a camp one weekend or something like that. So it's not, and then see how that goes from there. But I'm sure there's going to be a time when it's going to call me back. Just that I think I love basketball too much.
Message to the people that supported you.
Thank you. Like there's too many people to thank, and to be honest, I apologize to everyone that I didn't really get to say thank you to or reach out to before I left, just with how hectic things have been. So, you know, I have a lot of like even my agent, Charlie, like I basically haven't spoken to him. I need to message him. Like I just been overwhelmed with a bunch of stuff. So I just thank you to everyone who supported me. I appreciate everything. I appreciate you, Cheska. You know, you've always been cool on the court side. And even as we were going through our things together, you know, you were a huge motivator for us and stuff, you know. So congratulations too. And thank you. You were inspiration to Ace. You know, I would show him, look what Tita Cheska's doing. And right. So thanks as well.
Thank you. But we're also happy knowing that Ace is okay. We hope to see you back here in the Philippines one of these days with the whole family.